Was Paul legalistic? Well, most people would say absolutely not. Now, you might wonder why I'm even asking this question, since it's widely assumed that Paul was the champion of fighting legalism. So there's no way, shape, or form that Paul was legalistic, right? Well, there's a little problem with dismissing my question. Here's the thing. Paul's letters include several sections with detailed legal discussions which advise his Gentile Christ-followers how to appropriately apply Jewish law in their situation. So does this mean that Paul was legalistic? Well, first of all, let's take a second and let's talk about the definition of legalism. First of all, it's not easy to define legalism or legalistic. What we know for sure is that when either of those terms is used, it's not a compliment. Legalism is generally a term Christians use to refer to a deficient form of faith. And for a long time, interpreters assumed that one of Paul's central ideas was confronting Jewish legalism, which emphasizes earning one's salvation through good works. But E.P. Sanders and many others have demonstrated that Judaism has never promoted the idea that one earns salvation through enough good works. So Paul wasn't confronting Jewish legalism because Jewish legalism has never been a Jewish idea, at least not in the sense of earning salvation through works. But some use the term legalism in a little bit different way to criticize those who are promoting strict observance to Jewish law. And this is where we have to come to terms with Paul's letters. One example of Paul's insistence on detailed Torah observance is 1 Corinthians 8 through 10. There, Paul offers a detailed and lengthy legal ruling on how his Gentile Christ followers should walk out their faith when in the presence of food offered to idols. So that's just one example of how Paul exercises his Pharisaic muscles to offer detailed, practical, and Torah-based guidance for Jesus' followers. So if legalism is promoting a careful observance of the Torah, Paul's guilty of it because Paul is very strict and defined when it comes to idolatry and sexual sins and prohibiting circumcision for Gentile Christ followers. But why does this even matter? Well, it matters because Paul is typically framed as an enemy of Jewish law. This not only misrepresents Paul, but it also has cultivated negative attitudes by Christians towards Judaism and Jewish people. As a passionate advocate for God's unmerited grace and mercy, Paul taught Gentiles how to carefully apply the Jewish law. Does that make Paul legalistic? I think it does. Well, if you'd like to learn more about Paul and his Jewish and Greco-Roman context, check out my book, The Weird Apostle. You can find it on Amazon, and don't miss out on all of my new content by subscribing wherever you're watching or listening.